It's early morning and cattle are on the move at Bold Ranch in central Montana. For more than 3 decades, Robert and Annette Bold have been raising cattle, and their son Spencer and twin girls Alexandra and Reagan help them run things today. Both Robert and Annette are former teachers who decided to return to their ranching roots.
Both Robert and I grew up on a farm ranch, not too far from here, approximately 100 miles probably at the most. I think once ranching is in your blood, it's really hard to get away from it.
We run a cow-calf operation. In the past, we've been predominantly Angus. This is the first year we're doing any crossbreeding away from Angus using Charolais. On the feeder calf side, we do custom feeding. We also grow our own. On the small grain side, we raise wheat and barley. The grain goes into cattle feed. So the barley is not a cash crop. The wheat is. We're not wheat feeders. We grow cattle. We don't finish cattle here.
From the beginning, saline seep has been the biggest challenge for the Bolds. Their land contained over 400 acres that was almost unusable because of high salt content. The Bolds fought to reclaim the land by first spreading granular gypsum over the affected area, and then seeding a variety of plants that had high salt tolerance.
In 1980, we began to do reclamation work here. We didn't know exactly what we were doing because this was the introduction and discovery of technology on how to treat some of these areas. So we experimented with over 24 grasses, forbs, and legumes to find some that would take. But we've taken this from less than 10% cover to well over 90% cover. And for us, it's become a productive area where you've gone from nothing other than snow white and the dust blowing in the summertime, like in July and August, to this type of a cover.
The soil itself, when Dad came here, Mom and Dad came here, it was really poor condition. And since then, they've done a considerable amount to reclaim it with grasses and mosses and even different farming techniques to reclaim it. And it's worked out very well. They've increased their herd by a considerable amount.
Managing water is a priority in this part of Montana. No-till farming is one way to retain soil moisture, and Bold Ranch was one of the first in central Montana to adopt this conservation practice. They also partnered with NRCS on projects such as installing more than 11 miles of pipeline to supply water to pastures that had never been able to support livestock.
They're always willing to investigate and try new techniques and technologies that are out there. When you have a family like the Bold family who tries something new and is willing to work with the producers in the community, it helps gets that technology out there to test it and make sure it's something that's going to work in our environment.
Robert is a very forward-thinking individual. If there's something new out there and he feels that it's beneficial, he is not afraid to try it. And I guess by the same token, neither am I. It's just kind of fun to share the information. If it works for us, it's kind of nice to help somebody else out too.
People will call our house and they'll ask for advice, and we'll help them any way that we can, or we'll give suggestions if we see something going wrong.
I always see someone call up and ask my dad, well, what do you think of this? Should I plant this? Or how did your triticale turn out? You know, what's your opinion on this? And he's always just willing to pass on knowledge. He just loves to share whatever he learns.
The efforts of the Bold family haven't just helped the ranch. The wildlife here is thriving as well. And from crops to cattle, water to wildlife, the Bold family takes whatever steps necessary to be as environmentally sound as possible.
The environmental stewardship is very important to our family. You can't gain anything from the land unless you keep it up the best that you can, and for future generations, you have to try to keep it the best.
I find pride in being the 4th generation, that we've made it this far, and hopefully just keep being able to pass it from generation to generation.
It's kind of cool to carry on a family legacy. I don't think many families can do that, and so be able to pass it on is just something really special.
I think what we've accomplished in the time that we've been here, I'm just really happy with it.
We're just a steward here for such a short period of time. So you got to have that goal where you try to leave it so much better than when you got it. If you've done a good job, you've got something to leave the next generation.